Oh, right, love. So now, more than ever, your mind and how you use it is so powerful. All right. So if you look at Germany and how the Nazi movement took over, before that whole tragedy, apocalypse happened, like 100 million deaths on the planet. Germany was pretty cool. It had all this music going on, all these interesting intellectuals. It was an exciting place. So how did such an exciting place get so influenced, so fast? Well, it has to do with shaming and blaming, okay? So the First World War, basically, Germany lost and were made to pay reparations for years. They were made to pay, so that their country, by the time the Great Depression came along, was so depleted, was so used up, was so shamed, was so without resources, that, oh my goodness, it was a situation of people wanting to rebuild their spirit, rebuild their resources, and believe that somebody else was to blame, not them. Because as soon as you spend all your time blaming anybody, you're creating war. And that's why in nonviolent communication, they talk about learning how to speak in a way that owns your own feelings without ever assessing anybody else. That even just the act of assessing people, thinking that you know their reality, is violence, right? Okay, so now we got the fact that that whole situation did happen with this evil that took root through Germany, through the Japanese also. But does that mean that they are less evolved or more vulnerable somehow to evil than everybody else? No, it doesn't mean that. It means actually that Americans right now are the next ones that could fall in that whole story. Because where does it come from? That the idea that somebody else out there is the evil one and you're the good ones. There's all this religious crap in the United States that has to do with evangelical beliefs that being the only chosen ones, and all kinds of different bigotry about racism. And so what we have to look at right now is how you use your mind is going to make a huge difference in terms of what happens in this story. And your creative mind right now is needed. You've got to think positive thoughts, and you've got to share positive thoughts with your friends. You've got to come up with ideas of how this whole thing can turn around, because it can. We're in a tipping point. You tip the boat the other direction, and oh my gosh, from here on out, people want to be more connected. They want to have more government programs to help people. They want the new Green Deal. We put all our money into green energy jobs for all the homeless and jobless people. We changed the homeless situation. It can tip in that direction, and women can have their equal rights finally. But it all has to do with you and your mind right now, because if you put your energy into those conspiracy theories, like the ones about aliens and the greys and the lizard people and all that, what you're doing is the same thing that was done that created the Nazi Germany, which is to say some people are human and other people are not. And you can kill the inhuman people and you can see them. And the truth is, we humans here are capable of great evil. We're capable of being so influenced and so hypnotized and so completely without our center, needing to be part of a group. And that's the funny thing is that these evil movements take root from the innocent place of people like, I want to be part of a family, I want to be part of a group, of a movement, of the saviors, which is a good desire, right? But there's no alien thing happening here, or if there is, it's still us humans that are part of it. Because as long as you take responsibility for how bad us humans can be, then you're going to take responsibility for yourself. You're going to take responsibility for what you share with people. Because if you get people thinking about, aliens taking over, that's really scary. How's that going to serve you or them? And what kind of power does that give you? everything you think is a choice in terms of what is it giving you? And you might as well think thoughts, since that's the one freedom you have, that actually give you and other people something. So how about this? Why don't you think that we have the capability right now as human beings to change the course of history, and that it's time? Why don't you think about the divine feminine actually returning, which she has come. It is her time, you know? Okay, so now you're going to think these thoughts and think about the evil that we have perpetrated as a human species, that we have learned from it, that we're not so dull that we can't even remember history. We can remember history. Come on. Yeah. Okay. What about that? Use your mind positively, okay? Use your mind creatively. Look at if you start to think about what you want to create, and you talk about that, and you repeat it over and over again, it becomes the movement, it becomes the trend, it becomes the vibe of the world, of the people. If you let your dog have some freedom so they can enjoy being a dog, and we can give each other the same freedom so we can enjoy being humans without caging each other all the time, controlling each other's every movement. Let's let each other have some play here. We can create such a different world, you know, where danger, like the danger of a dog off a leash, you know, that we allow the right kind of danger, so that we don't create the wrong kind of danger, where there's no more freedom and there's no more playfulness and there's no more risk taking that is democracy at its core, you know. Capitalism is not democracy at its core. Come on. That whole thing of like, it's fine to be rich. It's fine. It's great to be abundant, especially when you're doing something that's helping other people. But the thing about capitalism, where you purposefully take more than you give, that is a destructive way of being that does destroy you in the end. It destroys everybody that's part of it in the end. It oppresses the people who have to put out without being given back to, and it destroys the spirit of the person who makes money off of people that way. But all we have to do is just a slight difference. You're in the boat, it's about to fall over, and you just shift your body over just a little bit. And now the boat's on track again. So you go, yes, abundance, yes, wealth, yes, freedom, yes, the ability to be a free entrepreneur in the world, and helping others, and giving more than I take, right? Wow, isn't it simple? And we know the law of attraction is a real thing, that, you know, the more whatever you focus on, it amplifies. It amplifies. So if it's amplifying what you're thinking, don't think such negative thoughts. Don't indulge yourself, okay? Because you're putting attention somewhere, and they see in scientific experiments that wherever the scientists focus is where matter appears, is where the evidence appears, is where they're focusing. And they're like, what's the deal with that? That's because this world is all about the law of attraction. It's all about the amplification of focus. Let's focus positively, okay? Let's do it. Let's find the way back to the creative heart, the creative mind, and back to the feminine part of ourselves that says, gosh, in the end, love matters, family matters, the earth matters, animals matter. They have a right of their own to exist. So do the rivers. Look at this beautiful place. Okay, much love. Enough on that.